Good morning. It's a nippy morning here in South Africa, and as usual, you will catch me outside first thing in the morning in my pajamas. I have so many exciting projects today. Firstly, I am going to be potting up my brassicas because I have a few that need to be potted on. Why not in the soil? Because I want to just best prepare them because I have a bad moth situation, and I also need to order netting. So that's what's happening with the brassicas. I'm going to be up potting them today, and then I will direct seed a few things like my root vegetables, and then perhaps if I have enough time, I'm going to bring out my pots and fill them up with anything that I have lying around that I would like to put in a pot. But right now I'm on the grass, and no, I haven't had coffee yet. I will go inside, get dressed, make coffee, do all of that. But for now, I wanted to just quickly show you what I have in the greenhouse. It's not really a greenhouse, it's more like my sliding door, and then I have all of them right over here. So I'm very excited. They are waiting. They've been crying out, let me grow. So I will be making coffee, getting dressed, and bring you along with me. Let's go. I made my way inside when I was not surprised by Caspian still in bed, all cute and cuddly. Just look at that face. I had to race off to the local hardware store to grab some seeds, but I was getting distracted by how beautiful those garden gloves were. As usual, I was looking for calendula and African daisy seeds, and I found them very easily. After a solid plan, I got to work preparing the beds and removing mulch, cardboard, and newspaper that was in the way, and watering the soil. It's moments like this where my brain starts to race on all the things that are going to pop up. First, I got my seed snails and untwisted them. I am very happy with how quickly they grew and how many I could grow in such a small space. And it wasn't too difficult to separate them either. It allowed them to have amazing long, deep roots, and planting them in one by one was honestly a dream compared to dividing each root one by one. I love how dark the soil is. It really makes me feel like everything is working out. I'm all done with the peas. I've got mostly the whole of the fence covered with peas at the bottom. So that was very successful. That only took 2 seed snails. Now I'm going to start seed sowing the radish, carrots, beetroot, and other goodies that I have in my basket. Then I started making my labels, which has honestly been so helpful when trying to keep track of what's growing where, when things need thinning, and just understanding the timing of everything a little better. After stopping for a moment, I started with the beetroot. I have 2 varieties, but I chose this one because of its deep red leaves, which are apparently edible too. I will grow the other ones in another bed though. Next up, I used onions to fill a row. I've already grown quite a few in pots, but these are mostly for extra greens and hopefully repelling insects. I also planted coriander from my local curry shop. They're organic, and technically you could even crush and cook with them if you wanted to. That's how good these seeds are. But probably the most exciting project of all was mixing radish and carrot seeds together. The radishes grow much quicker, which helps mark the rows and makes thinning the carrots a lot easier later on. I was honestly so happy by this point. I definitely had to do a little happy dance before carrying on watering everything in. It really feels like the beginning of a whole new adventure. By the time I made it back up to the house, The sun was already starting to set, and I had to sit down for a moment and admire it, while Caspian finally woke up from his very long nap. I can't wait to see what tomorrow brings. Good morning. I don't know if you can see Caspian by the window there, but it's a gorgeous sunrise currently. Today I'm going to continue what I started yesterday because I didn't have time to finish, so let's go. When I say the first thing I do is go outside, I really mean before anything else. Before washing my face, before coffee, straight into the garden. Well, almost. After a fresh sip of coffee, it was time to get dressed with a little help from my companion. Back outside, I was really excited to start up potting these seedlings. Everything is becoming so green lately that the garden almost feels like spring already, which feels strange and funny because it's definitely not. I love using these recycled takeaway cups because they're nice and deep, which gives the roots plenty of room to grow. I just added holes to the bottom along with a few sticks for extra drainage. Then it was finally time to start transplanting. I did want to show something. One of the best tips I've learned for handling seeds is the cotyledons are the first leaves that supply energy to the plant, but they can't regrow. The true leaves, which look more like the mature plant, can recover and continue growing. So by gently holding seedlings by the true leaves instead, it gives you a much safer way to transplant them with less damage. Honestly, shout out to Monty Don for that advice. After that, I moved on to the lettuce, which I definitely oversowed again. Every time I tell myself to have more self-control with tiny seeds, and every single time this happens. Still, I like sowing them this way because it gives them such a quick and full start. While I was up potting, I got a surprise by trumpeter hornbills. They landed in the tree, and I noticed the much older one. Its beak was chipped, and the younger one seemed more confident and curious. After sitting for a while, I carried on with the baby spinach before finally cleaning up the table and watering in all the newly transplanted seedlings. Then I got a surprise visitor who arrived to cheer me on and offer a few words of encouragement. First up were the African daisies. These petals open with the sunlight and close again when the light fades or the weather turns cloudy, which helps protect the pollen inside. I carefully planted and then separated the seeds so they wouldn't grow too closely together. Then came the calendula, sometimes called poor man's saffron because of the rich color it adds to soups. I mostly want to use it for teas, natural pest control, and maybe even dyeing things one day. It creates such a beautiful natural color. Then finally, it was just a matter of tucking the seeds away, watering everything in, and adding labels, which has honestly made such a difference when keeping track of everything. I already can't stop imagining what this space will look like in a few weeks. Until next time.